my love, my divine feminine. Mm, so many thoughts, so many threads, so many, I don't know, I think you call them downloads or visions or some strange thing like that. It feels like epiphanies, one after the other. You know, I feel like I locked myself away in this strange dimension where nothing was right and nothing went the way that I wanted it to or the way that I thought that it would. And everything just one after the other, tower after tower after tower. And I own it. I did everything that I could to ignore it, to ignore what I was doing, to ignore what you were doing. I seeped into everything, into work, into relationships, drinking, some drugs here, sex, everything you can name it. And feminine, well, I feel like, oh, I know you're going to think, I know the words don't have to be perfect, but sometimes I wish that they were because it feels like that there's a side of me that wants to be like, you ruined me. You ruined everything that I was used to. I feel like everything that I've been through, that before you, I could have drank my way through most of life, done relationships the way that I saw them done by my mama and my dad, and been comfortable in it. I'm not saying I would have ever been happy in it because when you met me, I came from that. And clearly I was not happy. Though I thought that was what love was. I know it's silly, but I did. And I feel I don't know, the thing I keep hearing in my mind is like you broke time, like the day you told me to go, the day I left, that everything broke. It was like the whole world shattered and turned into this strange scene from Alice in Wonderland or something, where things that should make sense didn't, and things that did make sense shouldn't. And I don't know, like they're like those pictures of the melting clocks on things like it shouldn't make sense. It shouldn't go together. It shouldn't it's been so just surreal in the way that it has worked and that it hasn't. And the things that have helped and that shouldn't have and the things that should have helped that didn't. And I don't know if I think I just realized that the day that I felt like I failed you, you of all people, I know you're the first to say that you're not perfect. And I think I've finally gotten to a place where I pulled you off the pedestal and I see you're not perfect. Though that's part of what makes you so damn perfect, you know? That you're not perfect. Like you're not somebody that people can pick at and go, see, she's just too perfect. And there's something totally wrong with somebody who's completely perfect because you're not perfect. And over time, you've let your imperfections show. You've owned them. You've let them become a part of who you are and a part of how you can just be more amazing. I didn't even know that was possible. Even for you, like I swear you never stop amazing me. Sometimes you do things that are so simple even that it's not even what you're doing, it's that amazing. It's amazing that nobody else is doing it. Nobody else is just letting themselves do that kind of thing. And you've always been that way to me. And I don't know, I felt like the day that I left was the day that I don't know, I guess in my head I had labeled myself as so broken, as so beyond repair, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I wanted to fix it, and I felt like everything that I did it went backwards, and you were so mad, and understandably so, and it just fit in with the narrative in my head that I'd grown up with, that I was broken. and I would never be repairable, and that I was always eventually going to just fuck it all up too badly, or that, like, I don't know, that I feel like in some ways when we were together, that was my constant fear. I know I told you I was worried about you changing, and like, suddenly the other shoe dropping with you, but it was really, I was afraid that I would change. I was afraid that I would become somebody I didn't like. I was afraid that I'd become the parts of my mother and father I didn't like, the parts of who I was when I was in past deep committed relationships that I didn't like. And I didn't want, I felt like I didn't have control over the moments when I get overwhelmed at my own messes and burn it all down. Nobody feminine, nobody but you has ever wanted to figure out the new dance steps with me after I do it. Nobody would have. I wouldn't have. I think that's part of how you made me on. It doesn't even matter if anybody else would have. I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have given me another chance. I wouldn't have wanted to learn me's new dance steps, because if anybody had done to me the stuff that I'd done to you, it would have felt right to just say peace out, yo, and to have left it there. But you didn't. You didn't. And you found your way to healthy boundaries. You found your way to being where you can communicate what you need and what you want in ways that don't hurt my ears. And that, yeah, it still stings my heart, because it's usually something that I'm not doing right, or that I didn't think about, that it could be that easy. And in the past I let that get to me as like inadequacies, and in some ways they are, though. I think I've just come to realize that you are that smart, that anybody would feel dwarfed in their intelligence with somebody so divine and so intuitive and so smart. I mean, you're the only one that I can think of that now, when I wake up, when I feel like the clocks have unmelted from the counters and gone back up on the walls to be clocks like they're supposed to be, and I wake up from the crazy nightmare that I've been in, that you're the only one who ever ever would have chosen, would have wanted to be there laughing at me. And not laughing at me in some mean way that I'm used to. Not quite laughing with me just yet. I'm getting there. I'm getting to be able to laugh at myself a little bit more, not take things so damn seriously. Though it has helped. It has helped to know, sometimes in 5D, that you're there giggling at me, sometimes in 3D. I see you there giggling at me. Sometimes it's in a call or a text. Sometimes I make up reasons to be able to call you. Heck, there's been a few times, and I mean, you said you called me on accident, that I'd convinced myself that no, that you were doing that on purpose to see if I call you back. And I do every time, because I want you to know that, yeah, I want to hear your voice too. I'm not brave enough to say it yet, but I do. And I think of reasons that it's better to call you than to text you. And you know, it's funny, because I realize one of the things that I've always lacked is self-discipline. And I feel like you've provided a really great example of how to learn that when you're not very good at it, when you don't have a lot of good examples around you, when you got obstacles around you. And you've shown me how, like, feminine, I think, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like when I left, it was the day that time broke. It just broke. And I didn't feel like, I felt like a part of myself had severed itself off in some weird way. It doesn't even make sense. And then I just thought, well, this is life. This is the new reality. This is it. Like you gotta go with it. Don't go back and forth. Don't be leading her on. Don't be playing games. Just accept the weirdness, the crap that you woke up in, karmics and all. Just you made your bed, lie in it. And I thought that I broke you. I thought that I broke you. I know that you thought you were broken, but feminine, you're the only one that I know. That's a crazy thing. You're the only one that I know that will go through all that you've been through before me, after me, all of that, and choose to be happy. And choose to be happy for you. Choose to be happy without throwing around, hey, here's my new arm candy, without being spiteful and mean all the time, without pretending to be perfect, like you don't have any feelings about it. Goodness sakes, I know you're the only one bold enough to both to be able to to make it clear to me and everybody else that you still love me and you can still consider us a thing, but that I'm out doing my thing, whatever that is, and you're doing your thing, and that, yeah, you're bothered by it, but you're not stopped by it. In fact, I feel like you've done more in spite of it just to prove your point to me about how much fun you can have in life when you stop looking for all the next disasters that might happen, and how great you can feel when you do stuff for yourself. You fill your own cup first. How good you can feel when you choose to do things that are good for your body and good for your mind and good for your soul. And funny enough, for how we were when we met, for how we were when we were fighting before I left, I really, you know, even before that, like I swear everybody that I know of has pretty much been serial monogamous. Like one thing doesn't work out, they jump into the next. And even if there's sometimes just a 2 week relationship in the middle, like that's it. And maybe somebody might spend a month or so, like halfway in and halfway out of some relationship, but I don't know anybody that's ever just been single except you. And especially been single and not complained about it, not been like, oh, I'm so in love or nobody wants me. And certainly not anybody that's been like, I'm single and I'm going to figure out how to do everything on my own, and then you show me. And I mean, I was the first one to admit that I didn't think I could do it alone. I thought I would be too much trouble by myself. I thought I would spend all my time drinking on my own, wasting my money, getting into trouble with people, being the king of drama and all that. And here it is. Here it is, feminine. I feel like over the last, I don't even know, a time is so weird. I feel like there's been a series of times that some universal force has just snapped its fingers and I wake up. And I look around me and I go, oh my God, what am I doing? What have I done? How did I do that? Why did I make that decision? How did I get so lucky that somebody like you would settle for somebody like me who's still having those awakening moments where I didn't even realize I was in it that deep? And that's when I look at you and I see what you're doing. Sure, maybe you don't have all of your ducks in a line, but you certainly got the ducks, and they're at least following you, you know, and everything there. It looks to me like everything in your life, it's going better than it was, and there's not constant earthquakes and things falling apart. And I remember you telling me things like that, like if you'd stop over giving to so many people, stop splitting your focus, if you'd have some good friendships, if you'd do more for you and less for other people, and stop being so stubborn and do it all my own way. I know all that stuff too, but I feel like here's the proof in the pudding. When I wake up and I look at it and I see what I chose and I see what you chose and I see that what whereas I thought you were I thought I know that you're I know that you're a cut above the rest. There's no doubting about that. Though I feel like I'm also seeing for the first time that I thought that you were choosing the harder path. That it was just something most people weren't capable of, and somehow you were stronger than the rest, which is true. And yet, also, I can see for one of the first times that actually you chose the path of least resistance, which is something feminine as I watch the moon rise above me tonight that I think about how silly I've been to think you chose the harder path. No, you didn't. You chose the easier path, the path of least resistance. The hard part was letting yourself see that and not worrying about whether or not anybody else around you was doing it and doing it because you knew intuitively and intellectually. I mean, you've told me a lot of this stuff before that it was a lot easier to find yourself and to get yourself together. I feel like that was been my task this whole time to be able to surrender to the solitude to do that and instead I spent all this time trying to distract myself with people and work and money and drinks and all that stuff and I just overwhelmed myself more and more and felt more and more stuck as I watched you become more and more free. And then it felt like time ran out, like time felt like time broke, and then time was weird, and then time ran out. And now it feels oddly like time has stopped for a minute. It's almost like those scenes in the Matrix movie where like everything slows down as the bullets speed by so you can move by them. Like I almost feel like it's like that. Where I'm seeing like so many things in my life could have been easier. Had just been easy. Not trying to fix everything in every single moment. Not trying to be everything for everyone around me. Not worrying so much if somebody does think I'm a jerk from time to time, but also not getting to a place where I don't care if anybody thinks I'm a jerk, so then I am a jerk all the time. There's so many things I feel like I've learned, and most of them either from you or through you or in the absence of you, I understood what you had told me before that I didn't. And there's so many times even that I will learn something that I know you tried very hard to show me and teach me, and I tried to learn. And in the moments in our distance, somehow it will come to me. Either somebody else brings it into me in a much harder way than you ever would have because you love me so much you would never have done it. That when it comes through that way, I realize how important it was and how unfair it was of me to act like you asking for it was a problem. Asking for something is never a problem. Forcing people to do something, manipulating, doing all that's a problem. You know, I'm so used to people throughout my life using words, emotions, everything to manipulate people. And I swear, feminine, you're one of the only people that I just say that you're the only one that I know of that's more stubborn than me and that almost just to prove the same point that you would outlast me and get to that point, that you would get to that finish line point where I would wake up and see it all and go, oh, well, duh. And then look around for you and realize how many lessons that I really did need to learn on my own, not because you didn't want to help me learn them, not because I was too stupid or inadequate, simply because I didn't have the experience or I didn't have a certain puzzle piece or key code or something that just made it fit in right. That I didn't have to beat up on myself and feel like I was inadequate or not worthy. You know, it's so funny, Fem, because I sit in this place right now and I still don't feel worthy of you exactly. You are so far above the rest. Maybe that's something that I need to work on, but I don't feel bad about seeing you that way. And I feel like in many ways you still settling with me. Like you could have anybody, you could do anything, you could rewrite the stars as far as I'm concerned. But I think I'm starting to understand that if you see me as worthy, then there's got to be something about me that I can see as worthy too. I'm starting to look for those things, starting to feel those things. I feel like I see all the people around you. To be honest, I feel like I wake up to it and I'm like, whoa, like people come to you for guidance. It's not that I don't believe that you're worthy of it. It's just it feels like so many people. Sometimes I still feel jealousy and envy of it as like, if all these other people are wanting your time and attention like that, then maybe I wasn't crazy for wanting it. Maybe you were, and I realize it now, like you weren't like anybody else. You weren't manipulating me. You weren't trying to do anything. And you have your human moments too, and most of them's because of my stubborn butt. I don't know if I feel like I'm almost to that place where I feel worthy. I still got some work to do on myself. I'm really glad at some decisions that I've made lately. And I know you're gonna think that it sounds bad, but I'm proud of myself for not running to you the minute that things were very, very hard. I know that it pulls you in, and also though I love coming to you for those moments. I know that I could come to you at any moment when I feel vulnerable and squishy and want somebody to soothe me. But I really needed to learn how to do that for myself. And I'm proud of myself for learning how to do that and without all the extra stuff, without all the extra drama, without the drinking, without all that stuff. And to be honest, I don't know how long it'll take me to feel ready. I feel like I'm not going to be like I was before, to where it has to be some ridiculously perfect standard before I'm ready. And I don't feel so afraid of rejection. Though you've certainly thrown in enough mystery that I don't feel like I can just leave you waiting there forever. Though I think I've finally gotten to a place to where I feel like in my heart I know that when I'm ready, you'll be ready too, and that it will be perfect. It'll be like you remind me from time to time when I still spin that I'm always doing the right thing, even when it doesn't feel like it. But sometimes even bad things lead to good things. Just keep faith. And so I have this odd sense of growing faith that if I do this, if I just work on me, for me, in loving ways and good ways, and I keep the faith that the Spirit will open up all the right doors and all the right pathways so that I can just walk right to you. So it doesn't feel like I'm constantly having to climb Mount Everest and and brave the elements and go through all of that just to be able to have one moment to talk with you or text with you or look at you, and then I can't even do anything in those moments because of all the strings and chains and binds and things that are hanging off the back of me that you can't even see, or maybe you can, I don't know, but I'm ready for it to be easier. And I feel like I'm in a place to where I realize that while I won't ever really feel like me without you, that I won't die if it's without you. And that feels like somewhat of an improvement for me, especially because For me, I would have thought that once the feeling faded, that I wasn't gonna melt without somebody I loved, that all the love would fade away too. And I just, feminine, I feel like in many ways you outdo everyone else just by being patient, just by working on you and spending more of your time being a beautiful example of how to be divine. That you show me how much fun life can be had once you get out of the box, once you get out of trauma thinking. I appreciate your example so much, especially in these moments of clarity. You just keep dancing your own tune, your own song, and have faith that the more you enjoy yourself and the more you do what you find wonderful and beautiful and pleasurable and healing, that's the most attractive thing you can do, especially to me. You show me how to embrace me when you do that. Trust me, feminine, when I say I don't have anybody else in my life right now that's capable of that or doing that. I need this example. But don't do it for me. Do it for you.